working with Pesci. He's such a little whiny, annoying guy who I absolutely love. He pushes you, and he wants it to be perfect, and we love being silly together.
Marv!
Harry?
Why the hell did you take your shoes off?
Why the hell are you dressed like a chicken?
I had been a huge fan of Daniel Stern ever since I saw Breaking Away, and he was just, I thought, a phenomenal actor. He was always my first choice, although he wasn't originally cast in the film because we couldn't afford him.
They hired another guy, and then I think the other guy, whose name I can't remember, and Pesci rehearsed for like a few days, and then they called me and said, okay.
Ironically, because of a failed screen test, Dan ended up getting the role.
Thank God that other guy didn't do that movie. It would have been so stupid to have passed. When we first started shooting Home Alone, Chris wanted to have a real sense of danger until the explosion at the end when all the gags are set up and then Macaulay pounds us, and then it got more cartoony. So it was kind of being silly and stupid, but trying to keep some malevolence to it and unleash the slapstick at the end.
Hiya, pal. We outsmarted you this time. Get over here.
And they had me hung on the hook, which was a whole kind of little system thing that they'd have put me up there and stuff. And so we're rehearsing, and you know, Joe goes,
First thing I want to do is bite off every one of his fingers, one at a time.
I don't think he did it on purpose. He bit me. And I think he just meant to put his teeth on my finger, but he bit down a little harder than he thought. And I have a little Joe Pesci tooth mark scar right here on my finger. And it's still there. But you know, I'm actually really proud of it. It's my little Home Alone battle wound.
Although we tried to rough up Macaulay as much as we could because that was our best shot at him, you know. Stationary target, finally, that kid. I'm gonna kill that kid!
What are you gonna do to him, Harry?
And I'll burn his head with a blowtorch.
And smash his face with an iron.
The way we shot that actually was interesting because the way they did that, obviously they shoot up and they have an iron dropping towards the camera. But when they want to film down looking at me, they built a rig where they put the camera on a rope and dropped the camera at me, and the rope was supposed to poing, you know, stop like right there. So, and I'm supposed to be looking at this 300-pound camera dropping at my face. Okay, I hope we know what we're doing. The stepping on the nail was a rubber nail that I could crush, you know, like that. Walking across the bulbs, those were all made of sugar. There's a tarantula crawling up my face, and there was supposed to be a mechanical tarantula. And so we got to the day of shooting, and I said, you know, where's that mechanical tarantula? Because I saw the box with the big hairy one. And they said, yeah, that didn't work out. Didn't look real. So it's the real tarantula? Did you take the poison stinger out of the real tarantula? They said, well, you know, if we took the stinger out, the tarantula would die eventually. And I said, but if you don't take the stinger out, I will die because it's going to be crawling on my face, and I'm supposed to scream, and I don't want to scare. Well, tarantulas can't really hear that well, so you can scream. That's when I let out a scream that I think I copied from Psycho.
I hope you're making this behind the scenes interesting.
Is this making sense so far?
I think what happened with this film is something that doesn't happen often. You have a good story, and then you have a good performance, and then the next layer is you have interesting way of presenting the story, you know, with the photography, with the sets. It was like a layer cake that just got better and better, and then you get one of the best music people in the world to score it.
There was another composer who was originally scheduled to do the picture, and his schedule all of a sudden didn't work out, which is like one of those accidents where, you know, like getting Joe or certain other things, you know, a puzzle piece flips away and a better puzzle piece falls into place, and John Williams came on board.
Sometimes people make associations with composers, for example, in my case, and the budgets of film. They may not ask me to do a film if the budget isn't big, or they may want someone else to do it because it is small. Actually, from my point of view, I've never really cared about that. It's more a visceral thing, the kind of reaction that one has to the material that is irrelevant to the cost of it, really, and the size of it and the scale of the production. So I was delighted to be asked to do the film.
John Williams and I have done 5 or 6 pictures together, and he has truly just taken my films and just given them new life. And he's honestly, I think, the greatest living composer.
The holiday atmosphere, from an orchestral point of view, is always fun to paint. And the other aspect was the comedic aspect of it. And a lot of those comedic sequences that are scored, if the music is a few frames off one way or another, it won't do. It needs to be really sewn to the action in a way that you would with an animated cartoon almost. It's a difficult piece to do, even though I think I had more chuckles and more fun doing it than a great many other films that I've done.
This film had a lot of heart to it as well, particularly the scenes in the church, and he gave it just a big Christmassy feel, which was one of the real things that John Hughes was trying to do, was to deliver a Christmas film. At Christmas you sit and it's always the same films being shown endlessly. It's a Wonderful Life, and well, you know, on 34th Street, well, he remade that for that very reason. So he had his eye on that market, and John Williams really helped us hit that mark.
Both Chris and I had talked about A Christmas Story, which was kind of a contemporary of this film. It was a favorite of both of us. And both of us wanted to do something that was a little more fine-tuned and a little more classic in the sense of presenting Christmas in a more regal way.
The key for me is to always create films that don't feel dated. A picture like Home Alone still makes an audience laugh as hard as it did when it was first released. And that to me is what we wanted to do way back then. You know, the goal was always, the mantra was always, guys, when we're old and gray and it's 3 a.m. and this pops up on the Late Show, I want to make sure that none of us are embarrassed by it.
It's still funny in the way now, today, that it was back then, and I think it will continue to be. I think it's a classic movie, and it's just, I'm very, very proud to be a part of that.
Home Alone is the most special movie I've ever been in, actually. I mean, I love all the movies I've been in, and I'm very proud of them, and I've had great people to work with. But Home Alone has been a calling card throughout the world.
What else did you do while we were away?
Just hung around.
We were just trying to make a good film, as good a film as you can. And making good films is like putting lightning in a bottle. I mean, you assemble the best team you can and then you pray, because you don't know. I mean, that's what makes making films quite an exciting business in all respects.
I think Home Alone is everything. It's certainly a holiday movie. I mean, see it every holiday season. I mean, it's a family movie, and it's wonderful slapstick and a comedy. So I think it probably hit every area, so kids could love it, parents could love it. It was a true family movie where everybody could have a good time at the movie.
And you know, I've done a lot of thinking about what we did right on the film, because I wanted to recreate it on other films, and it's really difficult to do because the film took on its own style. I think by handling the scenes in the right dramatic context and being aware of the scenes that came before and after, the film took on its own flow that worked for the film.
That's it. We're done.